Swing Dave called this number back. I need $25 for this walk around sit down chair.
Production. Been around the block. Been around the block.
Good evening. Welcome to episode 34 of Been Around the Block. My name is Brooks. I'm one of your gracious hosts, and we've got Christopher T. Ross with us, Christopher, according to his Facebook handle, Bradley Nemo Sparks, and Brittany Jefferson. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. Really good.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
All right. So I got to ask about football. Nemo, did the 49ers play today, bro?
I don't think so. I think we had a bye.
No, they didn't.
Okay. Yeah,
It was, they played the other night. They played on Thursday.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, they played on Thursday.
I don't know, man. I've been pretty depressed, with the way we've been playing. So,
well, I know speaking
Well, at least
of
you're not
football,
a Cowboys fan.
How about
Well,
those Cowboys?
I say Joshua Russell's probably pretty happy right now. Been sending him all kinds of stuff about that.
okay, this is my argument on it. It would be better to be a Cowboys fan right now because they haven't been to the Super Bowl 3 times in the past 11 years and lost all 3 times. So, that's
I can't tell. Chris, are you breaking up?
I can't tell
No,
either.
I'm laughing. I can't. My voice is fucked up.
Yeah, he's a little spotty.
Yeah, that's.
Oh shit.
He's just
That's
walking
gonna be
around.
a problem. Here we go. Here we go with that.
That's all right. Whatever. We're gonna move on. We're gonna keep it exciting. It's gonna be good.
I'm not
Why
sorry.
you sell out your buddy who helped you out where you are? Sell
Keep it
out. What does
exciting.
Why
that
do
mean?
you sell out your buddy who helped you get where you are? Sell out. Mark
Who
Reyes.
said that?
This is a recovery podcast, Mark. But if you would like to know the answer to that, he actually quit because he wanted to go on his own. So how I sold him out, I don't know. I don't know where you get that from, buddy. But
Yeah, it's just.
I'm assuming you're one of his trolls, so just go ahead and step back over to his page.
Yeah. Back to what Nemo's saying, man. It's a recovery podcast, dude. This has nothing to do with any of that other stuff. So if you're going to be bringing trash on here, man, we're going to kick you. So that's all I got to say about that.
Peace.
So without any further ado, Brittany, welcome to the podcast. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you
Let's
for
just
having me.
start off asking the basic questions. How long you got sober? Let's get into it.
Yeah, so I'll hit 2 years January 9th. Yeah, 2
Nice.
years.
That's very good. So
Yeah.
getting really close.
Yeah, getting close to the 2.
yeah.
It's kind of like, like during the last year, I didn't really count. You're not really counting the days. Like you count the 1 year. Yay, got the 1 year, chip, get the cake and all that stuff. And then it's kind of like, life is life in, and you're just like, okay, so this is just part of my normal life,
Yeah.
And then, the 2 years is coming up, and that's something important to me too,
No, it's
So,
it's a big deal. I know that I like when people would congratulate me a little bit earlier on, I'd be like, you really shouldn't be rewarding me for doing what I should have been doing the whole time. It's the way I try and look
Pretty
at
much.
it, so
the best way to get humbled that way is through your kids, because like you're like over here celebrating this stuff, and your kids are like, what? What are you talking about? 90 days.
Those were the best times, though. The first year in recovery, it's like
Yeah.
you're celebrating getting your driver's license back. I celebrated
Yeah.
opening a bank account. You know what I'm saying? Like people.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
for real.
definitely.
I'm like, I opened up my own bank account, y'all.
Yeah, doing all the
Be
things.
proud of me.
and they're like, yeah,
They're like, so
I've got insurance on my car, bro. What we all do that, bro. We got tags too.
When I first
Weird.
came home, I was like, I told my friend, I was like, I need to find a way to go deposit my check onto my Cash App. And my homeboy, he looked at me, he was like, my best friend Cody Clark, he looks at me, he goes, bro, it's time to get on your grown man shit. You need to go open a fucking bank account. And I just felt that shit pissed me off, but it humbled me so much. I was just like, okay, time to start doing regular ass shit. I learned how to pay my phone bill. I learned how to fucking do other shit. And I've been learning a lot of shit.
Man, Chris is just walking around pixelated tonight, bro. That's cool.
Yeah, he's kind of pixeling.
What the fuck?
Sit
Are you
still,
not
man. Just sit
Your
still.
phone?
No, he's on his iPad. It's fine. Hey, I was speaking of the comment of that. William Mullen said he got his license back at 47. So,
That's
Oh,
what
William.
Hey,
whatever
I
it
got
takes.
mine back at 35. I had lost them at 20 and got them back at 35. Man, it was great.
Yeah, it took a couple years for me to get mine back too. I kind of fell through the cracks because I had the blow and go in my car, and instead of just doing that, I went and bought another car. Somehow I slipped through the cracks, I guess through COVID, and I didn't have to go finish that. I just had to go up here in Tulsa County, pay my stuff, and they gave me my license back. So
Yeah. Good job.
expensive reinstatement fee, but whatever, it's done now. So we asked you this off camera and everything else, but what was your drug of choice? And yeah, just kind of let's get into your story.
Yeah, methamphetamines, I grew up in a real small town. Let's just do his little backstory. My mom is a beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed lady who took this brown baby down to San Angelo, Texas. And it was just, real small town, you know what I mean? And meth was the drug of choice in that area. And so growing up, I didn't really feel like I fit in or feel like I belonged anywhere. A lot of, there was some sexual abuse and things like that in the household. And so I just was always looking for who I was and what I looked like. And, there wasn't people who looked like me, and so I wasn't black enough for the black kids, wasn't white enough for the white kids, whatever. So I hung out with a lot of Hispanic kids and, I just try to find my way, you know what I mean? And so about 13, 14 years old, I'm really getting into some trouble. Things are getting kind of out of control. I've become very sexually promiscuous, due to just, sexual abuse at home and just being, I was really overdeveloped. I was tall and thicker and, kind of like a pariah, you know what I mean? Because a pariah, because I didn't look like anybody else. And so I hung out with all the high school boys. And stuff like that. I tried to end my life at about 15. And while I was in the hospital, they told me, congratulations, you're about to be a mom. And that's thanks. Woo. And that's with my oldest child. And in my hindsight in 2020, I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. I didn't have no skills. I didn't even know who I was. I didn't even know at that time who my child's father was. And so I went from place to place, picked up a drug habit with some friends that I was staying with. That's when I started doing crystal meth and, just kind of started finding my way. I didn't know anything about prostitution or none of that kind of lifestyle yet. I was still kind of simple and naive, but I just didn't know how to live. I had this little tiny baby with me, my little girl, and I was just living place to place, living in shelters and stuff like that. And I met somebody, and he was a little bit older, and I decided to take off with him, and we moved to another state, which happened to be Oklahoma. So I was with him for a long time. So in between that time, there's kids, there's drug abuse, there's physical abuse, there's just all the things, incarceration, criminal decisions, just all kind of just shit, when you really don't have any good foundation. I wasn't really talking to my family anymore at that point. And, I've got a meth habit that's kind of a secret, but not a secret because it's like socially acceptable in this family to be on meth, I guess, And so I end up getting in some trouble and I go to prison. And this is after maybe, I think I have two or three kids by now. And, the physical abuse and all those things. I'm not going to go too much into those war stories, but, just being a young girl out of her place, never feeling like she fits in, strung out on meth,
I was going to ask you that. Is that kind of the feeling that just kept following you, is just not feeling like you belong no matter where you went?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find family anywhere I can.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely finding it with anybody who does meth. You know what I mean?
So,
It just makes
so I got a question. Where are you originally from?
I'm from San Angelo, Texas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the only one not seeing Chris right now?
I don't see him either. I thought it was a black thing. I don't know.
So
I'm surprised you started talking then, honestly.
it's always exciting. It's always exciting when Chris.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
You offended him. You left. Okay,
So
so
how old were
I'm
you
sure I didn't offend him. Do what?
Nah. How old were you when you went to prison?
So this is my first prison sentence. I think I'm like 18, I know it was a baby. So I was going to get to that. I know it was a baby. So I go to prison and end up in Dallas State Jail. I think it's for fraudulent checks. Basically, I was writing checks when I was living in the shelter. Thought I could live off of them. You know what I'm saying? Just something dumb. Well, anyway, they take me to South Dallas Penitentiary, and I am in for a rude awakening. I just was in over my head. I'm talking about everybody's like rough and gruff, and it was just I just was not ready for that experience. And I started telling these older Black women that I'm looking up to, because mind you, I didn't know anyone in my Black family, you know. So my social construct was like the white people in my family, you know, didn't really stick together, and then the Hispanic culture who really stuck together, even with all the toxicities and everything that's going on. So I go to prison and I'm meeting these ladies, and honey, they're like, he did what? And you let him do what? And I got my first fight, my first prison fight, and I'm just starting to walk a little harder, talk a little harder, and I'm finding my voice, you know. So that prison, I think it was maybe prison sentence was maybe like 12 months or something. I get out of prison and go back to my child's father, and I'm not the same person I was. I got an attitude now, you know, and I know how to fight and I know how to talk back. And I'm just like, I'm just not going to put up with this no more. Plus, I still an addict at heart. I'm wanting to do this meth. I want to get back on the meth, you know. So there comes a time when I'm just like, I just can't do this anymore. And praise God for his mother, because she has always taken my kids in no matter what. Like, she's just like the matriarch of the family, you know. And so she's always taken my kids in. And I go to her one day after I think I got my ass kicked or something. And I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. You're going to have to take these kids. So I'm thinking I'm a little tough now because, you know, I've been seeing some of the world and stuff. And so I leave, take some of his money, I think take some of his dope and stuff, and take off in Oklahoma City. I hadn't been out in Oklahoma City yet, mind you. So I'm out, I go to this hotel and I'm like, okay, I can do this. I got a little bit of dope. I can sell this dope, whatever. Well, my door gets kicked in, I get robbed, and it goes downhill really fast. So I'm walking the streets of Oklahoma City. I end up at the green carpet. And if you know, you know. And I'm just like kind of trying to play it by ear. I'm real smart, you know, kind of crafty. I can usually kind of like fake it till I make it, but I'm in over my head at this point. I got a meth habit and I don't want to go back home because now I've got a little bit of freedom, don't got the kids and all that. And I'm just looking for something, always looking for something. That's kind of like the theme of my life, you know. And this Black lady and her dude, it's just the sweetest little couple, right? And they're like, well, we got some way you can make some money. Just come stay with us. I see, because I'm sitting on the porch at this time at the green carpet at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Room rent's done. I ain't got no money. I'm just looking like a lost puppy. And of course they can sense that. And that's when I met my first traffickers, that couple right there. And it got pretty bad. I was with them for about 8 or 9 months. And you know, I had all the drugs that I wanted, but I got immersed into a lifestyle that I was not prepared for. They would
that at the time.
My kids are with the mom, with my baby daddy's mom.
Okay.
In Oklahoma City. This is whenever I told her, I was like, I can't do this. You know, I gotta go. I just whatever. Thinking I knew everything, and I didn't know shit. And so I'm with these people for like 8 or 9 months. And now my drug habit's becoming way worse. And now I'm playing with guns, and now I'm playing in the streets. And now I'm this persona of this person. I don't know, you know, I just don't know what I'm doing. And they started, you know, I was getting high, and they started trying to shoot me up with, you know, heroin. And so I would pretend like I was getting high, and I would just shoot it on the ground, like gnaw it out, because that's like the desired effect they wanted, you know, it was an abusive situation, all that. And one day I'm like, I'm just going to pretend like they have to fall asleep at some point. I think we made our way to Arkansas. We were, you know, we didn't stay in Oklahoma City at that time. We just traveled around. And I was like, they have to fall asleep at some time. When they do, I'm out of here. You know, I finally got enough like wits about me to realize, you know, I can post myself on these apps and I can sell my own body and just whatever. I still was not ready to go home yet, make it right. I was not. And plus my meth addiction and that needle was just, ain't nothing coming between it. And I found something within, you know, prostitution and turning tricks that had sparked in me since I was a child, of fair exchange. You know, when I was younger and my family member was, you know, molesting me, they would give me treats and give me little things. And so it kind of like ingrained something in my brain that I can make my own money. I have a way to, you know, to live, and I can support this drug habit in my mind. It's just all these things that are going going on. It's just a lot of confusion. And so I end up getting away from him, and I go back to my kid's father, and it's just all bad from there. It never really gets any better. Um, in between there's some times, I'm seeing my kids off and on. I'm not able to get really any clean days together. It's just all bad. And I meet another guy that I think I'm in love with. He's a pimp as well. And long story short, I end up getting in trouble with this guy, and I get a drug trafficking case that sent me to prison for some time, about 4 years. So during that time, I'm sitting down in prison, and I'm like, I really did it. Brittany, you really fucked up. Like, you really fucked up, Mind you, I know that God is all throughout my story, because when I was younger, even with the sexual abuse and all that stuff, I was always inspired to go to church. My grandparents would drop me off at church, or the church bus would pick me up. I know they had donuts on Sundays. They'd pick me up Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Sundays. The preacher kids loved me. They'd let me stay the night at their house. And I got a real good taste of what it's like to love God, higher power, something outside of myself. And so God is all throughout my story. It's just I was just so lost. I didn't know how to reach out to him and just make it reach out to him for his advice, or reach out to him. I didn't know how to do it. And so I go to prison, and I'm in the big leagues now, and I got to really sit down and sit on my ass. And it's my first time being clean. I'm gonna say I guess I'm gonna say I was dry, because I'm away from all the lifestyle and all this stuff. I wasn't clean yet, I still had that stinking thinking like, oh, I can write some tricks, or I can whatever, but I knew one thing for sure: I never wanted to use again, and I wanted to get my kids back, and I wanted to be the mother that God created me to be. And I needed some guidance. I knew I was smart. I knew I could do something, and so I started working at this call center in prison, and that really changed my life. They let me work as the IT network manager and just all types of stuff. So I learned that I had skills. I learned that I was, worthy of something more than just what I had been through. And I met a lot of great people, a lot of great women in there, and people who poured into me. And I just learned a lot while I was there. And I worked hard. I saved some money. I was able to rekindle my relationship with my kids, as much as you can through letters and visitations and stuff like that. And, I got out. I had a significant amount of money with me. My mother-in-law or ex-mother-in-law picked me up from prison, and that woman rode for me. She loves me. But she picked me up from prison, and I was able to go purchase a car. I was working at a call center outside. I was seeing my kids every day. Everything was great, I wasn't using. I decided, I wasn't going to use no more. I'm done. I'm done with meth. I'm done with stick needles in my arm. I'm done with with all that. I'm better than that now, And so I'm working at this call center. I'm getting on these chat lines and stuff. And they're stinking thinking's creeping back up. I'm trying to figure it out again. But also to figure it out my way, not God's way or anybody else's way. I have to just shut up and listen to somebody, but I didn't have anybody at that time who could tell me better than what I was doing at the time. And so I get on this chat line, truckersdate.com, and I meet this guy. And he's a truck driver. Imagine that. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm just with this guy because I just love him. I think I like him a lot. And really in my mind, in the back of my mind, he's a trick, right? I know that he's a trick. And yet I'm looking for something still, as usual, looking for something. And he comes in tenfold and he sweeps me off my feet. Like, as far as like financially wise, like he's stable and he has all these great things going on. And so, he gave me the money to move. He gave me the money to move into a house. So I went and put a down payment, my first house ever, in my name. I got my driver's license. I had the car in my name. I wasn't on food stamps. Each one of my girls, I had made them a beautiful little bedroom, like in Norman. We had 3 cars. Like, it was just picture perfect for someone who just got out of prison. I was able to look back and be like, you know what, I did that. Or so I thought. But remind you, I didn't have any program. I was just dry. I still had that addict mentality. I was still trying to figure it out Brittany's way and didn't have anybody teaching me how to not do it Brittany's way. So my little baby, she's living with me. Older daughter's living with me. Middle daughter's living with me. And it seems like everything's going well. And it is for a little while. I'm taking him to school, going to PTA things and doing all the things and stuff. And it just still wasn't enough for me. I don't know what happened, but something did. Addict mind got crafty and sneaky and cunning and crept in there, And I just I wasn't listening. I had been praying and thanking God that, my life was complete now, but it was all built off of a lie, right? Because I met the guy on the truck dating website and I really wasn't attracted to him, really didn't like him and all that. But the lifestyle that he was providing for us, I would have went through that, forever if I knew it would have lasted. That's when I originally started the PRSS classes. I was thinking, okay, I'm going to become a drug counselor and da da da. Well, our relationship started cracking pretty quick. I'm still clean, still not using, but I got a brand new car, so I'm driving around. I'm seeing some old people, places, and things, and picking up people I ain't supposed to, and hanging around with people I shouldn't to, because I want to show you, right? Look at me, I'm clean, I made it out, da da da. And it wasn't long until I started using again secretly, because this dude wasn't going for that. He ain't going for no druggie, he ain't going for none of that. So I'm secretly using, and then I don't even need the money. I don't know why I did it, but I posted an ad. I went and got high, and I turned a trick behind his back, and he found out about it. And at that time, there was some problems in our relationship. I would say marriage, but I don't want to. I'm married now. I wasn't married then, but I was engaged. I had a $12,000 rock on my finger. You know what I mean? And I turned that trick. He found out about it, and some things started crumbling. I find out that he's got some secrets. He owes some Armenians like $100,000 for an 18-wheeler that he just purchased. He's just got a lot of crazy. We got a lot of crazy stuff going on now. But stuff that I wasn't. Another realm of stuff I wasn't prepared for. Like the police department came and kicked our door in looking for financial documents, but it's because he was running some kind of thing on the other end. So he was great, but he wasn't all what glitters is gold, So some things started kind of falling apart. Well, this time I'm hanging around with my old friends again. I didn't have people all in my house, people that he would never have tolerated. My kids are like, whoa, this is getting kind of weird again. Mom's getting kind of weird. And he calls me home. He wants me to come home and talk to him. He came home from the road one time, and I'm like, I don't want to come home. Of course, I probably did a shot that day or something. Who knows? I'm like, I don't want to come home. I didn't talk to you. Are you serious? And I get a text message or call the next morning saying that he had driven home to his home state and he had committed suicide from his mom. I got a call from his mom. So, mind you, I'm sitting in my big old 4 or 5 bedroom house. Things ain't bad yet because I'm really not out there yet. But I just felt like if I would have went home, maybe, who knows? Who knows what? He had a lot of stuff going on the other end. And plus, he then, moved down here and started his family, and we're both living in a facade. And about 3 or 4 days after I get the news, I'm going to my friends. I go to get high, and I have a really bad car accident. A car accident so bad that it just leaves me mind you, I'm getting high already again. I'm traumatized and shook from his death. The rug's kind of pulled out from underneath because I didn't have a job or anything yet. I was working with him in his trucking business, and I get in that car accident, and my head's swollen, and I believe they said I had a TBI, and I'm just kind of screwed up. So I call some friends, or I think it was my baby daddy who picked me up from the hospital, and I go get high with a TBI, shoot up meth, and I'm just screwed up now. It's like my body could only remember how to do one thing good, and that was to post an ad and turn dates, right? And so I've got tweaked people living in my house, my big old house in Norman. His wife he actually had a wife from another state that came down and said, "You never actually got a divorce, and the ring on your finger is actually mine." And so that kind of shook me back too, right? And so she's trying to fight for his property and all this stuff, and I'm so far gone by this time. I don't even know what's going on. Fight for I don't even know. So I end up selling off all kind of stuff in my house. My little daughter's like, "Mom, you're too weird. I'm going back to grandma's." My oldest daughter's like, "I have seen too much and been through too much with you. I'm going to move in with my boyfriend. And then my little middle daughter, she stayed with me. And we went through it. We really did. I lost everything. I can't even tell you how quick it was, but I know it was pretty quick. So quick to the fact that we're living in a hotel. I think this was like during the COVID time, whenever they were doing like those vouchers for houses, but you had to get on like a waiting list. And so me and my kid, like we're living in hotel to hotel. I'm hustling for 2 rooms, one room to keep her in because I'm such a good mom. I'm going to keep her safe, keep her in one room and I'm going and turning tricks out the other. But I'm doing all kind of other stuff I don't need to be doing. And I just keep hearing God telling me like, are you serious? When are you going to take life serious? And it's like, I just didn't know I didn't have any guidance. Nobody was above me telling me like, this is a smart choice to do, or this is not a smart choice to do. I just kind of kept on making it up on my own, and our best decisions get us not in the best of places. And so we're in the hotels, and I think what happened was one night she goes up to come. She was leaving to go to school because the school bus would pick her up at the hotel, and somebody made a pass at her in the room. I mean, going through the thing, and was like, I guess they knew what I did and tried to say something to her, and I flipped my shit, and I was like, Brittany, you got to do something. You got to get y'all out of this room. At that time, I could never come up with enough money to really just like make something happen. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, it says the camera. Okay, there we go. So I could never come up with enough money to just make things happen. I just couldn't seem to figure it out. Of course, I'm going through all these things. I met another trafficker during that time that I was kind of playing around with the idea of everything, and he kind of took me through the mud. And so once he went to jail, I was able to kind of refocus on getting me and my kid out of that situation. So that's whenever it leads up to after that time, the guy made a pass at my daughter. I was like, okay, I got to get us out of here. So I went and I hustled, I think maybe for 24 hours straight, which if that's a long time to be working. I took anything and everything, and I ended up coming up with like $2,300. I was maybe $200 short of being able to move into a place. I finally found a landlord who said, I'll take you. So I get this little house on Southwest 44th, and I moved my kid in there, and it's bare bones. It's empty, but I'm happy I finally got us into a place, right? And things kind of slowed down for a little bit because now we're housed and I'm not in the elements so much. So I'm kind of able to chill out a little bit. But, the people that were around me and people, the more money you make, the more people want to come around, and it's just, and yeah. And now you have a place, so people want to come over for sure, and I'm just not making the best decisions. And, my daughter was kind of looking for something too at this point, so she falls in love with a little boy because she's missing her dad and everything that's going on. And this boy's on fentanyl and introduces her to fentanyl. And I get a new boyfriend, right? And he likes to shoot up too. And he doesn't care if I turn 100 billion tricks a day. And he does at that time, he done went through his own trauma. And we just collide, and it's just like fuss, fight, fuck, repeat, all that kind of stuff, and I'm going through a lot at this time, and so is my kid. And I kind of stopped talking to all my family, stopped talking to all of my friends. Not that anybody could do anything for me, because I wouldn't, no one can take me away from anything I'm doing, but I'm just looking at my daughter, and I'm slowly seeing like this is getting serious. Like, so I start flirting around with the idea that I'm gonna get you into rehab. I call the clinic, and her habit is picking up worse. I'm finding out I'm going over to the plaza to go pick up or something. I'm finding out that she's been over there at the plaza. You know what I mean? Just crazy stuff. Stuff that it's just spiraling out of control. And so yeah, I pretty much, me and the dude that I was with, he's now my husband. So there's that story's gonna come. Yeah, we made it out. We all made it out. There's some good stuff coming. We just got to go through the mud to get there. Okay,
Be good, yeah.
trust me. And so we're tear that house apart. I'm talking about we fucking tear that house apart. Our neighbors hate us. Everybody hates us. We're just a mess, you know. And me,
I gotta ask because I grew up on the south side, Southwest 44th, and what?
and May, we had a house right on Southwest 44th,
Oh wow,
so
okay,
it's facing a street.
wow.
And me, I've got all kind of hooker friends and all kind of stuff, and it's just a mess. I'm sure if you set a camera outside, you'd have an award-winning show, you know. And so, it's just kind of all bad. And at this point, I'm kind of to the point, I don't even care anymore. I don't know what I was looking for, but at that point, I'm so far gone off the rig and off the tricks and off fighting with my dude and just, you know, living in this lifestyle of, you know, criminal behaviors going on, all kind of stuff that I just don't know how I'm going to get out of it. And at that time, I can honestly say I feel like I told God I don't care if I get out of it, you know. This all happened in the, you know, about a year and a half period after the person I was with had killed himself. And so I hear that my daughter overdosed on fentanyl. She didn't die, but I heard through the grapevine that she got some bad stuff or something. She had overdosed or something. And I start telling my dude, I'm like, I gotta save her life. Like, I'm gonna get clean. I gotta save her life. Well, you know, it ain't that easy. You know, I'm in a lot of shit. I done caught another criminal case, and now the laws are involved in my life, and it's just seems like every step I take, I'm taking 10 back. I'm trying to take one good step forward, and I'm just taking 10 back because I'm not doing it in a rational minded way. I'm not doing it like a normal person would do things. And so I hear that I'll go to this trap house, and I see this girl that I hadn't seen in a long time, and I'm like, dang, you look good. And she's like, I just came back from California. I went to treatment. And I was like, you did? How the fuck did you go to California? And she's like, insurance. I got this lady. Hold on, let me give you her number. And so I'm like, okay, cool. And so that sat in my phone for a while, you know. And I see the girl not too long after, and she's back on the shit, and she looks pretty bad. And I'm just like, what happened, girl? Like, I was like rooting for you. She goes, I don't know. I just didn't have no place. You know, I couldn't figure it out, you know, once I got back here. And so I said, I still have that lady's number. You think I can call her? And so she's like, yeah. So I call the lady, and I try to keep all names. I'm not going to name drop anybody, but I call this lady, and she's amazing. And she signs me up for this thing called insurance. And my boyfriend at the time, husband now, is Native American, and he has eligible for this great insurance. And so
Is it
I
Tor?
huh?
Was it the Tor grant?
No, it's Blue Cross Blue Shield, Oklahoma, that
Okay.
type of yeah. And so yeah, we get this insurance, right? I did some kind of, I was always doing some kind of scheme scams and something, change my address so I could say I'm on native land or whatever, so I can get insurance. At this time, I'm just thinking how I might be able to get to California and get clean, like really get clean, because here I felt like the only way that I could get clean was court ordered or state ordered, you know, like I just didn't feel like there was a way I could just do it. I'm sure there is, but for me, I could not figure that out. And plus I had um another set of problems with addictions and things with the trafficking and with the prostitution and those kind of people. And so I had been into it with some people, you know, and so I just needed to get away to get clean. And so I get the insurance, got my little card, still didn't use it for about 3 more months. I ended up getting kicked out of my house. No, actually, I didn't even get kicked out of my house. What happened was rent was coming up due. The little CARES Act grant had ran out, and rent was coming up due. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I can just rent this place out. It's some kind of random stuff. Rent this place out under my name, get the money, and then we can go get a hotel room for a month or something. Who knows? Some shenanigan. We ended up homeless, and we ended up staying at his people's house, his friend's house. It was just traumatic. It was all horrible. My daughter now is living everywhere, just as screwed up as I am, and my court cases are not going very well. And I just feel like it's all slipping away, and I just kept thinking like, girl, you better get up. You better start. I'm hearing God in these moments of clarity. Like I was blessed enough to have a few moments of clarity, not very many, but when I did have them, it was just God telling me like, girl, you listen to me, you better do something, like call that number, like, or I was hearing some guidance. So I went on there. I didn't call that lady. I freaking screwed up, and I just thought I could do it myself. Of course, looked on this website and called all these other treatment centers. The next morning, I had like 15 different plane tickets from different treatment centers that wanted to fly us out. It was berserk. I still didn't even hop on the plane yet. We still didn't even hop on the plane yet. I think I'd gotten real sick. I got sepsis and I had boils in my body and all kind of weird shit from shooting up meth. And I was just like looking around. I couldn't make a dollar. I couldn't do anything. Me and my dude are fighting horribly at the time. We're staying in somebody else's house. We're tearing that house apart as well. And I'm just like, we get in a really bad fight. And I'm like, I'm gonna die. Like I knew I was either gonna die, he was gonna kill me or something. You know, I'll kill myself or something was gonna happen. I just kept thinking, I think about everything that your kids went through, like turn this around, you know? And so I told dude, I'm like, we're going to treatment tomorrow. Because I kept thinking, for that moment of clarity, I kept hearing God tell me, you can't do nothing until you get some clean days together. You're not going to be able to get your daughter in that treatment center. Like, you're bullshitting. Like, stop bullshitting. Call the place and get into treatment. So I told him, like, we're leaving tomorrow. And he's like, okay. I always say that. I was always saying we're leaving. And I never did. But until this time. And I called this place, and it's in Las Vegas. And I thought, for some reason, I thought it was the same place. I thought I was going to California, but anyways, leave all the dope, leave everything. I don't even think we took any clothes. I think I took just the clothes on my back, a wig, and like some random shit. And we make it to the airport, and we hop on the plane and we leave, and we end up in Las Vegas at a detox facility. So one of these places that I'd researched or whatever. Not California yet.
And what year is this?
This is 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're up to speed now. 2022. And we get there and I'm like, this is a couples rehab, right? And they said they had a pool and they had da-da-da-da. Girl, you got a freaking dirty wig on your head, no clothes in your suitcase, and you're over here freaking asking these people. And then they told me that we couldn't stay together when we got there. Oh, Jesus, we can't stay together? Are you serious? You know who I am? Please, you know? So I tell my man, let's go. So we take off walking in the streets of Las Vegas. I'm so sick at this time. Listen, I am so sick. I have a mist on my hand that's mountain high from me digging and tweaking in my purse. I'm really exhausted at this time because it had been a really rough week to try to get on the plane to get to treatment. I have him carry my little suitcase, and we're walking down the streets in Las Vegas, and we end up at some silver dollar lucky casino, no chargers. I think I have like 62 cents in my pocket, and I have this imagination theory that I have a brother who lives in Vegas, which I did have a brother who lived in Vegas, but that he could pick us up and take care of us and whatever. Well, about 3 hours pass, and my dude's over there falling out, and I'm exhausted. And so I call the rehab back nicely, and I say, I don't think that was going to work for us. Can you just pick us back up, and we will do your program? So we get back, and we go our separate ways. And, you know, about 3 or 4 days pass, I come to, and I'm seeing now that rehab had something going. They had some food that would literally it was amazing. So we're meeting every day at the cafeteria, and I'm seeing him, and we're eating our food, but they had us separately, so we're doing our own thing, and I'm getting stuff full of pills. And that was my first experience with medications, right? I came in supposedly just for methamphetamines, but I popped hot for fentanyl, I popped hot for MDMA, I popped hot for ecstasy, I popped hot for everything you can think of. So that tells you I've been putting some weird stuff in my body. And I see him, and I keep remembering that there's something I'm supposed to do, which was supposed to be getting my kid into rehab after I got some days clean, because mind you, she's still out there in the streets. And I'm just like in La La Land. All these pills are pumping me full of. I'm in freaking La La Land, sleeping, eating, blood pressure, cows and seagulls, that whole thing. And then I see my dude. He's like, stop taking those meds, because every time I've seen him, I'm just looking like a freaking zombie. I'm not understanding like what to do. I'm in my grippy sock mode. And I'm like, he's like, stop taking the meds. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop taking them. So I stopped taking them for 2 days, and Bing, I'm back. Like I'm fresh. I'm like crisp. Like I'm feeling like $1,000,000, because I ain't got that stuff in my body. I done took some antibiotics by now, so I ain't got none of that. All that sepsis is out. And so I'm like trying to figure out like, okay, so we're gonna go sober living from here. Like, what are we gonna do? And then I get a call upstairs saying that my insurance ran out, or that my insurance was kind of jacked up, and I gotta kick rocks immediately. And so in my mind, I'm thinking like, I just barely stopped taking my medication. I don't even have enough like clean days under my belt to make anything happen. Like I'm trying to go save my kid, and I definitely don't want to go back to Oklahoma City that we just burned all to hell, and I don't have a place to go. Like I need continued treatment. Like what do we do? So I went back on my phone and I called that little lady who originally I spoke to. And she's like, well, let me call. You should have called me first. And I'm like, well, I don't make the best shouldas. And I'd meet some people. I talked to some people out in LA, and they're like, well, we can't do anything. We can take him. They're like, we can take him right now because his insurance is active. He's got that good policy, but we can't take you yet. And so I told him, why don't you just go ahead and I'll go back to the city? And he's like, fuck no, that's not happening. And so I'm like, well, let's just stay at a homeless shelter. So I got a new policy. It was going to kick in about 10 days. And they're like, if you can just find somewhere to stay for 10 days, when your policy kicks in, we can fly you out. And so I called some homeless shelters, and I'm like, okay, we're just going to stay at a homeless shelter for 10 days. If I can just make it 10 days longer, I know I can get to because they promise it's going to be a better term facility and sober living and all that. Well, I called the people back and I told them, we're going to stay in a homeless shelter. And then at 10 days, you guys promise y'all send us a ticket. And then, they call back a couple hours and goes, you know what, we'll just scholarship you. Shout out to those people. I would love to shout them out. I love them to death. That's how they just changed my life. So they believed in us. They picked us up. They flew us out. And maybe it was because we had insurance and he had good insurance. Who gives a shit? They flew us out there, picked us up. We went to separate sober livings. And my second night in sober living, no clothes. Remember, we didn't fly down there with no clothes. And I threw my wig away. And I'm just looking a hot mess, right? And these people were so loving and so kind to me. We went to their IOP, and I'm telling the people like, I gotta, I'm trying to get my kid into rehab. Like, I need a place, the office I can go make some phone calls. Because now, mind you, I'm crisp, I'm sharp, I'm on fire now, and I remember my mission. So I called a couple treatment centers, but at that time there wasn't any place to take a child who was actively using fentanyl without medically detoxing them first. And because also too, she didn't want to leave unless she had her boyfriend with her. So I was trying to play devil's advocate and get her in somewhere. Well, it just wasn't working. The one place that said they would take her, they said they wouldn't take her with him because they wouldn't take two kids at one time, and she needed to be medical detox. Anyways, long story short, I called CPS on myself. I called the police every day to go do a welfare check on her, and CPS again. And I called the news station, and I called everybody to get her a bed in that center. My oldest daughter picked her up. A good friend of mine, my mentor, went and took her all the hygiene and stuff she needs, and they checked her in, and she was going to be there for 30 to 60 days. So once I got that news, this is about 2 weeks. No, 3. This is a whole period of 3 weeks because we have this pretty much the same clean date. When they said, yeah, she'll be here for 30 days, you don't have to worry about her, I could just rest and relax and do these people's program. And I did everything they suggested, everything they asked, everything they told. I hit the ground running. I spoke up first. I just didn't have no time to waste. And I knew that she had 30 days. And I was thinking, I got to get myself together in these 30 days. She didn't have a very easy transition from fentanyl to no fentanyl. She had pancreatitis. She was she's tiny little girl. And it ravaged her body. It had just ravaged her body. And her kidneys were shutting down, all types of things. She's in the hospital. And it was just a tough time. But she didn't have any comfort meds. She did it cold turkey. She did it hardcore. And, when we got to talking, she told me about the severity of her addiction. And she was smoking enough fentanyl to kill a small town,
Jesus.
And so that's why I'm just a big advocate for, you got to go through it to get to it. And yeah, totally. You have to. And so 30 days was coming to an end. I'm back talking to my family members, my kids, and it's kind of rocky, Old dude sticking with me. We're both doing our treatment thing, and I'm just like, oh, I can't go back yet. I've really been through a lot my whole life, I'm like, I just can't go back yet. I don't have the foundation yet. And so I called my brother, talked to my brother, and I asked him, I was like, can you take her? Can you take, my daughter? Because at this time she couldn't go back to grandma's. It just wasn't, that wasn't an opportunity at that time. There was some things going on in our family. And he said, yeah, I'm gonna take her. Now, this is my little brother. Now, if he could have took all my kids when they were younger, he would, but we're 7 years apart, and now he's just barely on his grown man thing, works in the oil field, and he's a real strong guy and has a beautiful little son and beautiful little family. And he's like, yeah, I'll take her. And I think that was one of the best decisions I ever made. She's coming up on 2 years clean as well. By the grace of God, she just did her thing. She's back in high school. She's going to cosmetology school, goes to meetings, just does the thing, is very proud of her mama, and I'm very proud of her. And, we don't sugarcoat anything. We talk about everything out in the open because, my story's pretty deep. I didn't go onto it in here, and I'm not going to do that because trigger warnings and stuff like that. But, this world's a big, huge, scary place out there, especially for a girl. I'm sure it is for men too, but especially for a girl who doesn't know her way. And I just realized I just didn't want my kids to go through anything like what I did. And so I do the California thing, and I know how to program well. I do program amazing, do everything I'm supposed to do. I'm learning. I got to do some really cool things there that I think really did change the trajectory because, mind you, I'd only been dry. So I'd been through a program here before, but it was a court-ordered program, and I didn't have like trauma therapy or survivor therapy or anything like that. And over there, I was able to do like TMS therapy, like transcranial magnetic stimulation. I was able to talk to a therapist who really understood what was really going on. I was able to wean myself off of all medications. I was able to get a community. I was able to find God again and just to really work on me. And the cool thing is, my husband, my dude at the time, husband now, he did the same thing, but in his own walk, and so we stood up, we held ourselves accountable, we just did everything we were supposed to do there. And I started working in treatment, working as a case manager, just all the things that California can offer you if you're not from there and you got a spring full of hope. Just a spring full of hope. And that's what I had. I had God in my heart. I knew my life had changed, and I knew that God saved my child. Faith without works is dead. It wasn't just, dear Lord, please save my family, then poof. No, you have to put some work in. You can't just fucking sit on your hands and expect things to happen. That's not how it works. You have to do something. And so I just remember thinking, like, if I can just make it through one day, if I can make it through the next day, if I can make it through the next day and the next day, we got something going here. And I'm slowly starting to see my life get put back together. Me and my husband, we get married in California. The owners of the treatment center are the ones who give us away. I meet an amazing, wonderful woman who works with trafficking survivors, and she speaks life into me, and she teaches me a lot, like how to like really like live in my purpose and walk in my truth and my strength. And I just meet some people who really put me on fire for my future and on fire for life. Now, mind you, I went over there with criminal like warrants. I had warrants and shit. Everybody who goes over there usually does. And I kept thinking, wow, it's so great in California. I'm making all this money and da-da-da, but how am I tangibly going to put back together the pieces of my life? Because I got kids back home. That's the whole reason I did this whole thing. And so I started making little progress and knowing that I just needed to come home. And I just finally decided to take the decision to fly home and take care of my shit, man. And I did. He stayed back because he was still working and stuff. And me, I just jump ship all the time, anyways. But I fly back. I paid a bondsman before I came home. Amazing bondsman. I love her. I paid her and said, hey, I'm going to turn myself in. I fly in. My daughter drives me up to Tulsa. I turn myself in, and I have to sit there for a while. But, that was a cool experience going back into county jail completely sober and clean and like looking around. Like it was like a reminder of like, girl, you want to play around? this ain't getting fun. This ain't fun, you know, like you don't want to be here anymore. And so I did that. During this time, I've been working on my PRSS and working on some things, and I've done some different TV shows, podcasts, and just different things, just trying to figure out where my footing and where I could land, you know, like and I know one thing for sure, that God didn't bring me this far to leave me, and it's my God-given duty to reach out and help the next addict or woman or whoever, you know. I was struggling when I first moved back to try, you know, find a job and everything, but I did. I found a job at the Homeless Alliance. I'm a case manager there. I love that place. I feel like it's going to be a lifelong career. It's going to be pretty amazing. Um, I got my PRSS on Friday. You know, I got my own place, have a car in my name, no warrants. I'm supposed to be closing my case hopefully Monday.
Oh
We're
yeah.
praying no prison time, but it is what it is. You know, we're gonna find something out Monday. It is what it is. The moral of the story is my family is saved. You know, we that generational curse is broken. You know, it stopped. It's over with now. You know, my husband, he did the same. He ended up, you know, he flew back about a month ago to fly back in and turn himself in. And now he done got him a job in recovery, and we're just doing it. We're doing everything that we said we're going to do, and we're going to hold up to what that is. And yeah, so that's my
Hey,
story.
we had one question from somebody who chimed in, and she asked, "Can you talk about what therapy you were speaking about? What therapy did you go through? Did you
Yeah,
do
so
like?"
it's called transcranial magnetic stimulation therapy. And it's basically so it's called TMS. They put a helmet on your head and it sends electromagnetic pulses through your brain to kind of rewire the neural pathways, and it helps to treat depression and PTSD and things like that, right? And it worked for me. It gave me the calm I needed to be able to work through my issues, to be able to like really do the deep trauma therapy and talk about, you know, all the abuse and blah blah blah, you know. And so I just had to give myself a chance, and I had to put myself in a environment to meet people who could speak to me, who had the capacity to tell me, you know, right from wrong, you know, because if you're looking around in a room full of losers, guess what? You're the next loser, you know. And so by removing myself from the situation and being around people who were smarter than me and who knew more than me, I was kind of able to just pick up and learn and have people pour into me and stuff like that. But that's what transcranial magnetic stimulation therapy is. I think insurance covers it. I don't know if they have it here, I'm sure, but you have to look it up. But it's called TMS.
I got a question.
Sure.
So, well, for the people that are out there right now, say we got couples that are watching this that they're both lost in their addiction and they want to get clean and sober. So you're kind of a rare case.
Yeah.
I don't hear many, success stories in that, but what kind of advice would you give to those couples that, maybe they want to get clean together?
Yeah. So you can get clean together, but you have to do different recoveries. That's
Work your
something
own
that
program, basically.
you have to. And that's what, you know, the people at that amazing place that I love them to death, what they told me was, you know, you women help the women and men help the men. That's how it
Yeah.
has to go. That's just how it has to go. A woman, you have to find a strong group of women to help you and support you and work through your own trauma, and he has to work through his own trauma, and then y'all can come together and work through y'all's trauma. But it's not going to work unless you both clean out your junk. It's just not. You're going to still be fussing and fighting over who was where when y'all were on meth and all that crazy or fentanyl, you know. It's just not going to work. You have to do your own recoveries, and then you can come back together if you put the work in. It hasn't been easy. It's not like this has been a
Yeah.
cakewalk, but it's been worth it. You know, I'm not a sob story kind of girl, woe is me, but life is life, and life is pretty fucking
Yeah.
rough sometimes. But you have the choice to change it, you know?
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's go and jump in. We've got about 5-7 minutes left, and I already asked you what the question was. You want to put that up there, Chris? So, what do you want to be remembered for? That's a very good question that we had our last guest ask.
Yeah, I want to be remembered as someone who never gave up, who kept fighting to find herself, you know? I finally found the right path for me. And it took a long time because I didn't have support, but now I have support and connection. And I just want to be remembered as someone who showed the love of God. I want to be remembered as someone who cared deeply. I want to be remembered for being a voice to the voiceless and standing up for what's right.
Nice.
So you guys want to answer that one too? I did it first last week, so
I'll say I really don't. I don't know. That's hard for me because, I mean, let's be honest. In 100 years, I don't think any of us will
any
be.
of us gonna.
But I mean, that's about as real as it gets. But I mean, remember, like right after I die, I don't know. I think people don't really talk good about you until you're not there to back it up. It's like after you die, then that's when people. Oh,
Start
he's a
speaking
great
well.
man. He was,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just hope that where I'm at today, 7 years sober, that I know the people that know me personally, and they see a totally different man from 7 years. Am I perfect? No, not at all. But yeah, man, somebody that just was able to turn it around and never look back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What about you, Chris?
I want to be known for that changes. I just want people to know that change is possible. Like it is possible. It's because if I can do it, anybody can. That's the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Man, that's kind of like with me. If I was to go tomorrow, I want to be remembered for the amount of people I helped by hopefully being a positive influence on their life. I'm like you, man. Dude, if I can get sober, clean, whatever, after some of the shit that I put myself through, put my family through, I feel like anybody can, man. So I think that's kind of where I stand on that. So when I asked you, Brittany, what your question was going to be for the next guest, I have it written down. Let me just make sure I get this right. If you could tell your younger self one thing, what would it be? Is that right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's a good one. Yeah, I thought that was a really good one. So, good question. Well, I'm not sure if we're even going to have anybody next week. We talked about doing something, maybe bringing Josh Russell on to talk about the comeback kids. If we can't get a guest, we will kind of cross that bridge when we come to it.
I think I can find someone.
Do what?
I think I can find someone.
Okay.
For next week?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right, Michael. I'm going to shout everyone out. You want me on the comments?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so shout out to William Mullins. Hey, Mark Reyes that said I'm a sellout. Shout out. Evelyn Settles. Austin Conrad. What's up, bro? John Wood. And Brandon Hughes. We had a lot of people on. Jeremiah. He skipped out early. He said, good shit, but it ruined years of me. He can't hang out.
Oh, that's fair.
That's what's up. Deacon Oldham. That's Chris. You know Deacon. He probably can't hear me. Timothy
hear
Pilardi. Okay. Brittany Munoz. James Moody. What's up, James? Justin Granger. Kelly Anderson. Wendy Jackson. Sherry Cardachine. It's always hard last names. Alan Barnett. Shout out, y'all. Thank y'all for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this is really good. Evelyn watched this last couple weeks. Want to thank you. Who else? Sherry watched this last week. I feel like Kelly Anderson's
Mullins,
watched this the last couple weeks. Huh?
William Mullins don't miss. He don't miss.
Yeah.
He's been in the comments for the past 4 weeks straight.
Yes.
Yeah, and Timothy Pilardi. Is that right?
Yeah. Timothy Pilardi.
Timothy always watches.
Yeah,
Evelyn
we
always
appreciate
watches.
you guys' staying loyal to the podcast, man. We're doing the best we can, and
appreciate y'all.
Yeah, it's been really good, man. So, without any further ado, man, I'm so grateful for everybody who makes Been Around the Block possible. As probably you saw in the banners, man, if you're struggling with anything, reach out to one of us, man. Call the crisis line. I mean, don't just suffer alone. That's one of our big thing. Also, if you want to help some kids with some Christmas presents for the season and you're in the Oklahoma City area, man, Comeback Kids, reach out to one of us. We'll get you in touch with Josh Russell. And like I said, those little things help some of these kids who don't have anything for Christmas. So, man, thank you guys for helping us have been around the block, be such a success story. And like I said, join us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll see you guys hopefully next week. So, and we're out. So hold on one second, though. We're going to end this with a bang. Bam.
Woo! Yeah. It's Chucky, a.k.a. Chucky D's. D's nuts. I got a lot of fishing to do before I die. And I ain't got time for fakes.
Out.
You say you were angler, but you never found nothing. We say you were fangler.